Hi friends! Today I have a little bit of a get ready with me for you. It's more kind of a walk through what I'm doing on my face type and not so much a chatty life type, but you know, leave me questions if you want and I'll let you know what's going on in my life. But for now, I just really wanted to do a video around the Modern Renaissance palette. I've been talking about this since I got it, but I haven't really shown you many looks with it. And this is a look that I have been doing constantly. This is now like the third time I've been doing it. Well, constantly for me, but in like 1 week. So this is kind of like a springtime, cool tone, all matte, very easy, very simple, very few brushes, and really not even that many shades out of the palette. So it's actually really easy to follow. It'd be really good for beginners. And this is kind of a twist on spring. It's not really your typical spring bright look, but it is still a kind of spring look, and I really love the way it turned out. I know a lot of you have this palette, a lot of you want this palette, and luckily it's a permanent palette. So, you know, I know once when I put this video out there, you guys can come back and refer to it if you want some ideas. So that's what we're doing today, so let's get into it. I've already done my foundation, face, powder, all that stuff. I've started baking under my eye because this palette can have a lot of fallout. So either you might want to do your eyeshadow first or put some translucent powder down there that you can wipe away later. So we are playing with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. If you look at the shirt I'm wearing today, this plaid number here, the other day at work I was wearing this, and when I was getting ready I just wanted to kind of match it, and I used this palette, used a bunch of mauve shades, and I really loved the way it turned out. And I'm going to start with Warm Taupe, but I'm going to use this very sparingly just above my crease. I'm going to use the Pro Tapered Blending Brush from Beauty Junkies. With this palette I like to tap my brush off practically every time I dip into a shadow, just because of the fallout. And it's also super pigmented. Less is always more. Building up is always a better idea than starting out with a ton of pigment, a ton of shadow on your brush. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to do a very light wash of this Warm Taupe just above my crease. I want to create the shape of my outer V. So for my outer V, I'm going to be using Antique Bronze right here. It does have some flecks of glitter in it, but they really don't show up on your lid when you use this. I'm using a smaller brush now, and I'm just going to create the shape. So at this point, don't start worrying about blending. It's going to look awful at first, and you're going to get there eventually. It's going to look blown out and beautiful. So first, we're just going to create the actual shape. Make sure you have a big mirror in front of you, which I do. I know you can't see it. What I like to do is kind of just move my head up and down all different ways so that I can see how it's going to look at different angles. So I usually start out kind of looking down so I can see the full surface of my lid. And I'm going to create that V shape. And see, every once in a while I'm going to put my head down so that I can see when I'm looking straight at somebody what it's going to look like. For my V, I want to kind of bring it just above and into the crease so that when I'm looking at you, you can still see that. So at this point, this is what you should have. Obviously not blended at all, but that's okay. We're going to blend after. Dipping back into that shade, I'm just going to kind of fill this in a little bit more, build up the color in the outer third of the eye. This is going to be a gradient that goes across, so I'm going to do it in thirds. So I'm going to keep this darkest shadow just to the outer third. So for blending, I'm just going to grab a little bit bigger of a fluffy brush. This is a Chikuhodo GSM 10. Sometimes I like to use it with no product on all, but sometimes, in fact a lot of the time with this palette, I will just dip a little bit into tempera on that brush, still tap it off, and use that just to assist in blending out. The issue with tempera though is sometimes it can act like an eraser and just get rid of some of that color. So if it does, just go back in a little bit with the color. You can always rebuild it up if you need to, but this is just how I do it. So you can build it up, blend it out, build it up, blend it out as many times as you want to where you're comfortable with how blended it looks, how much color saturation you have, etc. So here's where we are. Right now it kind of looks like bruises on my eyes, but it's all going to come together, I tell you. So now I'm just going to go with a shader brush. This one is angled. I kind of like this one for being angled to fit in my eye shape. And I'm going to go in this matte right in the middle called Buon Fresco. And still, just tap off your brush. Again, I'm doing this in thirds, so I'm going to try to stay kind of only in the middle. Take it right up to the crease, but not past the crease. And then just kind of blend these two together. This shade here is really what is going to give you that nice cool tone kind of purple look. I really love this shade. I hadn't really used it at all, even though I use this palette a ton because it's in my makeup use up for the year. And the other day I just looked at it and I thought, that cool tone mauve shade, I need to use that because that looks really pretty. And turns out it is, and I've been loving it. I'm just going to stick to the same brush, just make sure there's no product on it. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just do this to knock all the product off. So you could just use a paper towel, whatever. For me, this works. So now I'm going to go into that tempera shade on this brush. I'm going to put it right in the inner third. This is going to give me a whole lot of brightness to the inner corner of my eye, and it's just going to make them look more open and awake. And I love the gradient look when it goes from lightest to darkest on the eye. This is also kind of why I like this angled brush, because right for the inner corner, it just fits right in there perfectly. And then just grab whatever blending brush you're using to blend things out with and just go right over that inner part of it. That's really as simple as it is. You can do an inner corner highlight if you want. You can do a brow bone highlight. I'll do a brow bone highlight just because honestly, probably about 75% of the time I forget to even highlight my brow bone. It's one of those things I never think about, but I'll do it since you're here. So it's as simple as that for the top eyeshadow. It's just a matter of building up that outer corner. That's really what takes the most time. I'm just going to wipe away this baking now, and all of that fallout will go with it. There is fallout there, I could see it, so I'm glad I took that step. For the bottom lash line, I'm going to use this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Desperation. This is kind of a smoky gray, not a black. I'm just going to put it kind of in the outer third, but when I blend it out, and I'm kind of going to drag it forward this way with a small brush, it's kind of going to end up being about the outer half of my eye. That's another thing I've been loving lately, is kind of leaving eyeliner off of this side, blending this just kind of to the middle. I just feel like it opens up that inside of my eye a little bit better. And I'm just going to take a little bit more of that Buon Fresco shade on this little brush and just blend that out even further. It kind of ties the whole look together. So that's it for the actual eyeshadow. You can do liner on the top if you want. I'm going to do black liquid liner in pen form. This is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster in Ultra Black. If you're going to use this one, make sure you get Ultra Black, not regular black, because this one is black, the other one is not. But you definitely don't have to do winged eyeliner. I just like the way this look particularly looks with it. But you can also just do that same kind of gray across the upper lash line and look really pretty. If you have a nude liner, I like to use it in my waterline. This one is Urban Nude from Estee Edit. Again, just makes your eyes look bigger and wakes them up a little bit. I'm going to use this Essence Matte Bronzer. It is called the Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder in 01 Natural. This smells just like the Physicians Formula with the coconut smell, suntan lotion smell. I personally love it. I'm going to do a little bit of light contouring with Benefit Hoola. Nothing crazy. For blush, I'm going to use NARS Bumpy Ride. This is their new spring launch. It's so pretty. And I also wanted to mention this brush here. This is, you can only get it in Canada. This is the Quo Professional Blush Brush. This is great for like setting under your eye, all that kind of great stuff, but it really is a great blush brush because it blends really nicely. So I'm just going to take some of that blush and just sweep it back. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very subtle, it's buildable, but it also has a little bit of a sheen to it. So if you follow me on Snapchat, you'll know I have not been able to shut up about this. This is the Casey Holmes Smashbox collaboration. It's a Spotlight palette in Pearl. This one is Pearl. I did order gold as well. Gold, I'm just not a fan. The glittery shade in gold was so chunky, I was actually really shocked at how chunky and it just fell out everywhere. But this one is just beautiful, and these shades just, they blend so well. This one here has a little bit of sparkle in it, but I do kind of like it. So what I'm going to do is mix Turn It On Pearl and Blow a Fuse Pearl. I'm going to take Turn It On and kind of do that all over. Can you see how beautiful this is? I'm just going to take a little bit of the glittery shade and just put that right here. So on my eyes, I use the IT Cosmetics Superhero Lashes, and then I just took a pair of Red Cherry Demi Wispies that I had already cut in half, and I just used the outer portion on the outer edge of my eyes just to give it a little bit more volume and, you know, oomph on the edge there. So that's what I did. And on my lips, I've got Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk and NARS Velvet Lip Glide in Bound. This is the lipstick I've been wearing with this look every time I've worn this, and I've this now the third time. This is just kind of a very neutral, somewhat maybe cool toned lippy, and it's going to work really well. So you don't have to use that one, but something that is either more neutral or on the cool side is going to work best with this look. So that is the final look. Let me know if you want any more spring tutorials. This to me is a spring tutorial. It's just more of like a cool tone. If you have the Modern Renaissance palette, let me know. Are you loving it? I'm loving it. I've been using it in my makeup use up for the year. I haven't hit any pan on any shadows yet, but there are definite dips. I'm looking from the side here. There are some definite dips in some of the shades. And that is it for today. So thanks so much for spending time with me. I hope you're having a great day today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you around in my future videos. Bye guys!